So we're going to do our Friday night flashback. I'm going to try to do both of these again like I did the other night. Just making sure that caught up on there. Got to turn. Okay, well, the volume on the game, I guess, is going to be pretty good. I don't want you guys having to be hearing it on there and then hearing it on here as well. So I'm trying to remember if there are cutscenes to begin with or whatever. I don't think there are. We're not going to go all the way through the game. We're going to play maybe the first two stages if I can get them. It's a pretty difficult game. Even if you play through it a few times, it's a little bit difficult. The game is only, I think, 5 stages, but there are sections in each stage, and at the end of each one, there's a boss. A lot of people say the game is a little bit too hard. I don't think it's that it's a little bit too hard. I think it's hard, but I think that the more you play it, and you figure out where stuff is and things like that, then you'll have that. You'll get better at it. I've only been able to get up to stage 4 of it, but the last time I played it from now is whenever I was a kid, and I didn't have the patience for it at that time, and it's still a little bit hard now. So we're gonna use save states, but you'll see me save every so often. Select is the start button on this game, and that's really odd. That's one thing I wanted to put on there. And you get 3 different power-up kind of weapons, and they are the batarang. It's like a gun of some sort, and then like a thing that throws out these 3 discs. I'm not sure exactly what they're all called because I can't remember. But you switch through those with the start button, and then whatever attack whenever you go to use something, you hit the B button, and that, if you don't have anything selected, that makes you punch automatically. So by default, that makes you punch. And of course, your punch is your normal move, so that you don't really. It's what you'll have if you run out of ammo. So basically what you want to do is you want to use the punch throughout most of the stages. There's something really irritating about this game, and I'll show it to you guys if I can get there. Is there's wall climbing areas. See, these are mines right there. Those bust on whenever they see you. We're going to save a lot during the second area because I'm not remotely I don't know everything that's going on in this area. Here's that one thing I wanted to show you guys. Now you can go over here and fight these flamethrowers, but you have to master this wall jumping technique during the game, and it can be quite frustrating because there's times when you'll have to jump, but you'll have to hold back because you don't want to jump that far, or you want to jump and land on a different part of the wall or something like that. So you'll have to kind of figure out how your jumps are. Because, well, I'll show you, like right here. You can jump down there, or you can get up here and you can jump up here, and they'll come off at a different angle either way. Now, like right here, I could do it this way. For some reason, all the enemies are not right here. There should be 4 of these things, and there's only 2 of them. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to try to we're going to try to jump up here, and boy did we trigger him, and we really didn't want to. Best thing to do right here is maybe pick the Batarang and just kind of, well, just kind of duck and also jump and hit. There'll be another one on over here. He may get the drop on us, I'm not sure. No, he did not. Well, he still shot me anyway. Well, he still popped me twice. Okay, well, that's better than what it normally is. But I think that's the only one left. I think he can run toward the end of the stage here. I think we have to fall down this hole right here. Now what you want to try to do with this guy down here, and I think I kind of screwed up on him a little bit. Let's see if I can still get him. No, I've screwed up. Okay, so what you want to do, well, you don't want to do that. You want to kind of grab, I think it's this triple shot. When you drop down here, you want to use it on this guy. And he is just, yeah, that didn't work real well. You might want to use the Batarang against that ninja looking dude. That might be better. Things that look like missiles when they drop, those are ammunition for your weapons. Now, there's a hard way to beat this guy, and there's an easier way. And I found the easier way out the other day. Usually if you stand in one spot, he can't hit you. The only bad thing is if you don't have Batarangs, you are in trouble. See, he can't hit you right there. And the Batarang will hit him twice. It's one thing that bothers me on this game is the enemies do not have a life bar. And that kind of bothers me because some games they'll have a life bar and you can see how close you are to killing them. The good thing is once the game does start you at the next level, you do get your life back. However, well, you still get to keep most of your items that you've accumulated with the ammo on them. And that's pretty neat as well. Although I think there's something over here that's not good. I think it's these guys. Some enemies, most of these enemies, if you can get up on them pretty quick, they usually can't do too much against you. And there's only a few parts where you have to see these little jumps I'm doing. I'm just barely pressing the button because you almost have to do that. See, now if you're, I got this the other night. I don't know if I can do it again. See, and I can skip up to here. Oh my. I should have saved right there because now I probably will not make it back up there. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, now what you want to do is land on this one. And if you're good enough, you could go over there and do that, but we're just going to use a Batarang against him. A couple hits and he's dead. You want to do those little tiny jumps because you do not want to have these big jumps that you have to make. Now this guy right here, usually they have a frame that you can just kind of get by. Now you want to take him out, probably from a distance. Keep wanting to hit select for the item I want, and I know that's not the button. But it's kind of hard to do that because usually start is your pause button and select is your selecting something button. So naturally ingrained in us, we have to hit the button and we don't do it a lot. Now this right here, I'm not real sure how to, well, I'm sure there's a way to do it without getting hit, but you're supposed to bank off of that. We're going to save right here because this is going to get really bad because there's a mine over there and there's one of these. Okay. But you're supposed to be able to jump off of the wall and just barely get the bottom of that. Now, in this section, which is 2-2, whenever you get to the video, there's these things up here. They're green. Of course, you can take a little shortcut. But you want to be careful. Like right here, if you do that exactly right, you can jump and miss those. These things right here, I think you have to take out from a distance. And you have to just barely hit the jump button when you jump in here, because the margin is just so small that if you just tap these green things, you'll take a hit. Now see, now I'm in a bad spot right there because see, I made it and I didn't hit any of the green thing. But like I said, you have to contend with the enemy, but you have to also contend with these green things, and well, and you see what happens when you hit them. So let's try that again. And well, I had this problem last night, I think it was. I was trying to play some of this for you guys, and I was trying to figure out if I could get through. I'm not sure right here if you can get up here without taking a hit. I think you can. Yeah, I just made it. Now this next one I'm not real sure. I will just take the hit and go on. You're supposed to, again, bank off the wall, jump and then bank off the wall, and then do it that way. That right there's kind of the same thing. See, that's what I was trying to do. Well, that's what I was trying to do earlier. I was able to successfully do it, and then the controller decided that we were going to go backwards instead of forwards. I'm trying not to hit that up on the wall. If you are trying to figure out what I'm doing, I'm trying not to hit that on the wall. Crud. I'm not real good at that. Yeah, yeah, I'm going to grab that heart. Yeah, that'd be real smart, wouldn't it? I'm trying to remember these stages because I played them and I don't remember. These things are dropping these little things right here. They can be killed, but I don't know what works against them because I wasn't able to kill them. I mean, I shot all kinds of times with different weapons and stuff, and I was not able to kill them. Now this is where it gets a little bit, this can get kind of nasty right here. In this area right in here. It can get a little bit harrowing. Actually, I think you can jump down through here. Yeah. Yeah, so let's try that part again. Best thing to do is probably to get up there and kill that guy. But you really have to, there we go. Now you don't have to worry about that contraption, but now you have to figure out where you're going to jump from. It's kind of based upon, because see, you fall at such a weird angle. There we go. Now what you might want to do, I think you go down low and it might make it easier if you go up top. Yeah, because then you can run past both of those. Okay, so then you want to jump down through here and not do what I just did. Or if you do, just take a little hit and go on. I'm trying to get down there for you, but it's not really working real well for me. Crud. You gotta take just like a little jump, but don't do one of those forward jumps because I don't really know how to tell you guys, because You want to jump so that you are in midair and you don't move. We'll just go on down here. And then we'll just deal with what we can. Crud! Well, my head whacked the ceiling right there. Wow. It turned once I landed, and I did not turn the way I wanted. And that will happen. Oh, this looks bad. And it's not. Okay, I think the boss is... Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to let ourselves get killed right here on the boss. And then we should be able to come back in the room. Okay. So we're going to save the game right here. Now, what you want to do is you want to grab the gun and shoot while dodging the bullets. They go 2 top, 2 bottom. You just want to keep shooting. You don't want to keep shooting whenever they're in a stun animation because it won't count the hit. So you want to make sure that you hit these things. So there's the first part of it. Now, the next thing that you'll want to do, I'm trying to remember. The big blue button on the top is what you want to go after. Now you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either jump up here and dodge all that while you're trying to jump and shoot at it, or you can move over to right here and you've got free reign. I will tell you one thing. Those lasers they're shooting out of that thing, those can destroy your missile. This right here, there's a spot to stand. I'll have to find it for you. It's not right up in front of it, that's for sure. Or just jump and punch. But normally there's a spot, but it's really difficult to get to right there. It's really difficult. I do like the cutscenes, however, on this game. Those make the story a little bit more. Yeah, they didn't refill my life here. Once you get down to these sewers, you see that huge thing over there jumping? If you don't walk towards them, and you can see them jumping from over there, and you can hit them, you want to hit those things from a distance, because they are a major pain in the butt. Now, there's a problem here. See, I'm not saving right here because I'm not going to go all the way through this for you. Because I went through it yesterday and it took me a while to get through this area. Basically, it took me a while to get through the area because number one, I'm not familiar with it. And number two, I didn't know some of the things that were coming up. Oh, gosh. See, I had to figure out how to do that jump right there. Again, these big bad things here, you do not want to deal with these if you don't have to. Because they start jumping around you, and you can kill them while they're jumping around. but they're a whole heck of a lot harder when they're jumping. And now you're gonna see. See now. I was hoping maybe I'd get him stuck. He didn't stay on the wall. Last night I got him stuck on the wall. He was stuck. And he could not come over and get me whatsoever. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. Most of the time if you die, when you come back, you'll start where you were. Even if you continue, you'll start where you were. Unless you're on a boss. Now, if you're on a boss, that doesn't happen. I think you have to start over. Might have to start over anyway. I'm not sure. I just now noticed that all that looked the same this time. Now, this is one of these really, really bad situations, and it ended up really good. All right, guys. Now we'll have to count that one up to just sheer dumb luck, because that happened, and it probably should not have happened, but it happened. So, but we'll take it where we can get it, because that's a good thing anyway. Man, some of the stage looks the same. I don't know why that is. And yes, you can touch these side walls here as you work your way up them. Those, I don't know why they glow. What's weird is some of these things I don't remember from the movie. Now this part presents a different challenge. This cavern here. This presents kind of an enemy that's a little bit difficult. It's not 100% difficult to kill, but gosh, oh mercy. I'll also show you guys what happens if you have to use a continue, because this part has one of the most frustrating jumping parts on the game. And it is definitely difficult to get up it, and you know, even if I can make it by these parts, you know, that jumping part is a little bit difficult. Now you'll see, if I hit continue, I'll start off on 3-3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video right there. Well, I'll end it whenever it goes up through there. The game is not bad. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. They made it maybe a little bit more difficult than it needed. Well, then they made it difficult. But for its time, you know, you would have Castlevania and Ghosts and Goblins, and Ninja Gaiden, games like that, and you know, none of these games had none of them had a stage. Well, Ghosts and Goblins has a stage select, but it's kind of hard to get to work. But most of these, they didn't have a stage select. They didn't have unlimited energy codes or unlimited lives codes. You were lucky if you found a Game Genie that had the codes for them, because these games, they're not long. The ones I labeled, the ones I labeled, they're not long. Ghosts and Goblins is 7 stages. Castlevania is 6 stages. I know there are more stages than that, but I'm just saying like main areas. And then like this one is 5. You know, so they made them. I think they made them difficult because the games were not that long, and you know, some people will say, oh, well, they're not that hard. They're not this and they're not that. Well, to some of us, some people, it works a little bit differently. Some people, it's, you know, I may play Mega Man. I may fly through Mega Man. My cousin Jim, he may play Mega Man and he may struggle. And the thing is, you know, it's just, you know, Jim's not as used to Mega Man as I am. Hasn't played as much as I have. Now, playing a game and being good at a game does not necessarily go hand in hand, because I can tell you right now, I went through Ghosts and Goblins, the required 2 times that you have to go through the game. I haven't been able to do it since. And that's fine with me because I've done it once and I haven't been able to do it since. So, and that game still remains tough. Ninja Gaiden, I got through with a Game Genie code. The second and third ones, I think I beat them all the way through. But, you know, and in Castlevania, I finally was able to, I got the Konami Castlevania collection and was able to make a couple of save states and stuff, and finally get through that game because I had never even seen stage 6. The furthest I had ever gotten is to the Grim Reaper, and I was even lucky to make it to him 2 or 3 times legitimately without using save states in my entire life. I mean, usually I can't get past Frankenstein and Igor. I use the holy water and try to just stun them and stay stun them, but sometimes that works and sometimes it don't, so it's a little bit difficult. But you know, like I said, some people think certain games are hard, some people think they're not. I think I'm gonna do a playthrough of this game. Maybe I might do a playthrough of it. I played it the other day and I got through the first couple of stages. And then I think it was last night I tried to play it and I went from, it was either 2-1 or 2-2. I went from one of those two to stage 4. And I turned it off because it was getting later and I had been playing the game for quite some time, and it was progressively getting harder. Now, I think you do have unlimited continues in the game. If you don't, there is a code for unlimited continues, so one way or the other, you can do that. But, and Ninja Gaiden's like that too. There's like unlimited continues. But Ghosts and Goblins, again, unlimited continues. But some of it doesn't help. I mean, it's basically you learn the layout of the game, you learn where the enemies are, you learn how to take care of them, how to kill them without taking too much damage, things of that nature. And like I said, I use save states now, but the only reason I use save states now is because when I tried to do these games before, as a kid, I wasn't able to get through them, and some of them now are still difficult. Like Donkey Kong Country 2, for instance. That's one of my favorite games. I still find difficulty in some of the stages. Some of the stages are still very, very difficult. But I find that they're more difficult now than when I first played through the game because my reflexes are a little bit slower than what they were. So I'm trying to beat games now that were that either I beat back then or I wasn't able to beat back then, and I'm trying to beat now, but we have issues. That's another thing with like the easiness and the difficulty of video games too, is like I can play through Donkey Kong Country 2 on the Super Nintendo and basically find every hidden barrel and everything because I've played it so many times. I think it's easy. Now, if you watched, I watched Angry Video Game Nerd sometimes. So I watch James and Mike Mondays, which is the same character along with the same guy with another guy, and they play different games every Monday for a little bit. They play Donkey Kong Country 2, and they are just awful at it. And I know I'm not the only person that sees it, but they are just awful at it. And then they'll play something though that they'll play something like this one I just played, and they can breeze through it just easy as can be. I mean, they just fly through the game, or they go through Castlevania, and they can do that. They think that these games like Batman, Castlevania, they think those games are easy, and I think they're hard. Likewise, like Donkey Kong Country 2 and like Mega Man games and stuff, they may think they're difficult, and I find them easy. So what might be easy or difficult to one person is not always easy or difficult to all. And I think that's what everybody needs to understand on game systems. And like I've told, I'm in two groups in Facebook. One's the Nintendo Universe, and one's our own. That's the Amused Gamers. The Nintendo Universe. Somebody was asking about difficulty the other day on video games. I think there should either be, when a game is made, the game should either have a difficulty setting, or the difficulty should go up as you go on, like a learning curve. And I know I've said that before, like in one of my previous videos. The difficulty should go up in a learning curve, or it should let you pick. Like nowadays, the Madden games, if you play on like Rookie, the game is significantly easier. If you feel like you can go on up, you go on up on the difficulty, and then the game adjusts and it makes it a little bit harder. If you go back and watch my videos on NHL, I play on Pro. I play on Pro now because I started off on Rookie and just scoring way too many goals. So I stepped up on Semi-Pro, and I said, well, let's see how Semi-Pro works. They ramped up a little bit, but not that much. And I was still able to do that. So I play on Pro now, and Pro is a good balance for me. And even people like Jim will play on Semi-Pro and Pro. That's a good balancing mixture for me and him, so that the game is not so easy that you win every game, but also not so hard that you get overly frustrated. I get a little overly frustrated when I lose quite a few times. I get a tad frustrated. Actually, I start screaming at the TV and screaming at the screen. I really need to not do that, but I do it. So I think everybody gets a little bit of gamer rage, though. If you don't, you're lying. You're lying, or you've just played the games and you just don't want to say anything, and you're really good at holding your anger inside. But I think the rage hits everybody at some point. So that's just how that goes. Next Friday, this game was for Roger Cox, who's in the Amused Gamers group. He wanted me to do Batman. He's also got the next Friday Night Flashback, which will be Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3. I'm going to play a little bit of each of those for the Nintendo. And you guys will get to see some of the old school Donkey Kong games that we first had. And we appreciate Roger or anybody else on these Friday Night Flashbacks of giving us ideas and things like that, so that somebody may want to see something different than what I come up with. Everybody might want to tune in. This may change because it's a ways down the road. For Halloween this year, I plan to do gameplay of Splatterhouse on the TurboGrafx 16. I don't know that I can beat it. I've got plenty of time to practice, but I don't know that I can beat it. So, but looking forward to that. That's months down the road. So it may change before we get there, but this last year I wanted to be ready, because this last year I didn't have anything really planned out, and we started that Nightmare Before Christmas thing, started doing it a little bit, and I just got to the point to where I just didn't want to finish the game. It got a little bit too tedious for me on that, and I didn't really want to finish it. But like I said, Roger has asked me to do the Donkey Kong ones next week, and we'll do those for Roger. If anybody else has any ideas or anything like that, let me know. I think thinking Jim, my cousin Jim, wants me to maybe do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 playthrough, but I think he wants me to do the Nintendo version, because I've already done the arcade version of the game, which is also the Xbox one. I've already done those. So maybe he wants me to do the Nintendo console version, because it had different stages in it. It had a couple of different stages in it. And but we'll see. We'll see if I'm going to do that, or if he's going to be able to do that with me at some point, because I think he wants to try to beat the game as well, and us do a co-op play on that. So, and it's always more fun with more than one person. So with more than one person playing, so it's enjoyable. But until next time, we will see you then.